It's a wonderful country. That's why I live here. It's a great place. I could live anywhere in the world, but I choose to live here.
It's wonderful. Belize is a wonderful country.
The quality of life and the people. I think they go hand in hand. Anywhere have I been in the U.S. where you can just walk down the street and people will hail you and say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, or good night, constantly throughout the course of the day.
I wake up in the morning and I walk down my little streets and I see Chinese and Lebanese and black people and all colors of people and from all cultures and all walks of life.
Sometimes I'll go to someone's house and fix a problem. It may take me 5 minutes, and they'll be like, here's a plate of rice and beans and some chicken, and that's just a way of saying thank you. And that to me is great.
The key to this country is education. I'm a Rotarian, and education in this country is very expensive. Our Rotary Club sends 25 children to high school at a cost of over $25,000 a year. And with better education, better educated populace, you get better government, you just get better trained people, you get everything improves 100% with good education.
Belize is moving a lot into computers. You go to the offices, you go to any place, you would see a lot of computers. And now, if you apply for a job, knowing computer would be an asset.
Actually, there's a lot of benefits of having the computer labs here. Once all the primary schools have computer labs, right away you need computer teachers and computer technicians. But also with having the students graduating with being able to use computers, going into the tourism industry or any of the large companies that are hiring, they're requiring students to know that. So it's more of a requirement now. And right now only some of the high schools have. So the students that graduate from the high schools with computer labs have a better chance at jobs. But if all the students have it, then it would be available, those jobs would be available to everybody.
It's just crucial that they have this basic information. If you are not computer literate today, you're virtually illiterate.
A child in this day and age knowing nothing about computer is practically dead, because everything is becoming so open in Belize that the child do need to know or must need to know about the computer, how to operate it, how to access information from the computer, because it could be quite easy for that child.
In this age right now, we deal a lot with computers. It's not files anymore, it's basically in computers you keep everything. And so if you do not learn computer at a younger age, it will be difficult for you when you're older growing up, because you won't know anything about computers. That's why it's good to learn computer at a small age, a younger age.
Well, most of the other high schools still lack an adequate computer room and adequate computers to meet the demands of students.
There is a very big need, especially at the primary schools. Most of the high schools have small labs. They do need more labs at the high school, but the primary school, there's a big push in Belize to get all the primary schools with computer labs.
More computers in the schools, because right now we have a lot of schools that only have 2 computers, and it's very hard to teach a class of 12 to 50 children with 2 computers. Really, I mean, I'm of the thought that it needs to be 1 child per computer. Even when you double them up, it really cuts into the class time. If you have 45 minutes and you're going to work on a certain number of skills, and then you take that in half by 20 minutes, and depending on what other issues that may come up during the classroom, it really cuts into it.
The challenging part is having a small computer lab, having to stand here right by this door and try to do my lesson with not enough space to walk around and show the children what they are learning.
The children did not openly want to speak that easily. They stuttered, they were shy. But since computers have been introduced into prize seeking, I have noticed that they They are more active participants in conversations. They are more active participants in world events. They are more active participants in events happening in Belize, because they could easily go to the computer and get the news. If they weren't at home to see the news, to listen to the news, they could actually see it on the computer.
A lots of the stuff are done faster, especially the secretaries. Even myself, since I work with grades, rather than doing it manually, using cards, finding averages, the teachers are finding it much better. They just log into our database, and they are able to enter their grades, and the computer generates the reports, etc.
So it's just, everybody is doing their part, and everybody is benefiting in some way from the efforts of bringing in technology. Even though it's used technology, it's still good technology.
You could just see the excitement the school had about getting a computer lab, and only a few students could take it, but you could see that right away. Of my class, it was the first class that had computers in them. I think everybody who took computers as a subject is doing a computer-related job.
Well, for us, for our Belizean children, and living in this part of Belize, in this town, Benke, much of our children, they do not have this opportunity. There are some children who have never even seen a computer, and when they come up here, you can see their joy in their face.
It's ferociously expensive, and the sacrifices that Belizeans make to send their children to high school is Herculean. It's beyond belief for a North American that they would do this. I mean, there's the cost of going to high school. There's the cost of books. Books are not free. There's the cost of uniforms. Everybody has to have a uniform to go to school. Basically, there's another cost of transportation, getting forth and back to high school. Most people live in villages, and you have to come into town. Transportation can cost you as much as $5 a day just to go to high school. And then you have to have food. You have to have, you have to have your meals.
The government is trying to work on it, but that's going to be a long process. So it's been more organizations like Rotary Club and volunteers getting refurbished computers down. There's a huge need, and the schools are very excited about it. They'll do their part with setting up the actual class, making the labs available for the computers.
I particularly would like to see more computers being donated to Christ the King, and more updated computers, because the one that we have, the problem is now that they're not really updated. And it is really costing us, because we have to be buying small gadgets to put in, and the simple gadget is very expensive. So if we could get some more computers, updated computers, we would really, really be grateful, because we do have space upstairs for some more.
And these computers are being very useful to the students. And when there is no money, we depend on donations from other organizations. And this really helps us,
The more technology we can get here, the more these people interface with the rest of the world. They learn about the world. They become better world citizens. They become better citizens of their own country and better educated citizens of Belize. And that's what this country needs, is more and better education.